Hello, hello, welcome boys and girls. Here's my attempt at being an egomaniac and trying to see if I can get the developers to respond so I can change the meta. For so many years I would hide my build and not tell anybody what I was running because I didn't want everybody in the world to be running my same build, but now I'm just going to share the super powerful, overpowered build that nobody can kill, basically. So first I'm going to show you how to run um, Paragon. So let me talk about the stats real quick because I know that's the main thing that everyone's interested in. So for Paragon, you would run minstrels. I'm not going to go into detail about how you get minstrels. There's another video for that. So what you would run for minstrels, you can run relic of the rune of the monk for healing power and boon duration, and then you can run relic of rivers for alacrity. Every time you dodge, you get that alacrity. My weapons are the same thing, minstrel stats, and this is my defensive, so I run defense on these, so cleansing, sigil, and energy. And then for staff, you can run transference or celerity. I like celerity for quickness. You can use quickness on multiple things if you crowd control them first. So you need to do a disable first. That can be snap pull or stomp if you want to swap off brace yourselves. But I want to use brace yourselves real quick to show you how you use this skill. So for Paragon, you can run Liberating, Reverberation, and Enduring Refrain. Defense and Discipline is, mostly going to be all defensive traits. So that'll be Cleansing, Brawler's Recovery, and then Burst Mastery. Burst Mastery is a must-have when you're running Paragon because every Paragon skill takes about 1 bar of adrenaline. And Staff is good for getting that adrenaline back with Bullet Catcher, and I think Valiant Leap. Yeah, Valiant Leap gives you adrenaline. You can also run, if you need help with adrenaline, you can run Invigorating Tempo if you have bad time getting adrenaline. I noticed that they added that. I feel like the Paragon traits aren't that special. They don't really do that much. Like this one, healing power and motivation when you first enter combat. That's pretty okay if you aren't really good at stacking motivation, but if you understand how to stack motivation, it's really simple. So let me get into that actually. So each motivation has, or chance has a certain interval cost. The lowest one would be the chant of action. So when you're running Paragon, you're gonna want to be in chant of action most of the fight. The only time you really go into chant of freedom is if you need that stability, and it's a chant, so that means there's an interval of when you get it. So you have to make sure you're not like in an area where you're gonna get stunned or something. So make sure you're like standing off to the back before you use the skill. So each chant does that. It takes that little interval before it casts. So make sure you pay attention to that. But mainly you're gonna be in chant of action.
Forge the way.
When you're in chant of action, you're gonna keep getting, those boons, and it's gonna cost motivation. How do you get more motivation? You have to be chanting first. So you can always start with chant of action first. That's what I do at least because it costs the least amount of motivation. How do you get more motivation? Hit him with a burst skill. You see how much I get? Swap my weapon. If I hit him again with a burst skill, it should go up, but it didn't. I don't know why it didn't, but anyway. How do you use the echoes, right? The echoes go off after you use the burst skill. So typically what I would do is if I'm about to get hit with a huge attack, if you read the skills, it says burst and chant. So usually what I would do is build up a lot of motivation to level 7 to 10, which you can do pretty easily. Let me get out of combat real fast because you can run. I don't really see. Here's the thing. I don't really see a use for We Will Never Yield because when you're in a fight, you don't want to go down. That's not what you want to do. It's just to save you just in case you go down. Maybe you have some conditions on you that you can't clear because you don't have Condi clear or something. And you would use We Will Never Yield. It lasts for 3 seconds, but it has to go off first. There's a cast time on it, about 1 second. You have to finish that cast time before you can use the skill. before the skill actually goes off on you. So typically what I would use this skill for is just use it for the barrier. So if you need some extra barrier to defend yourself, like I said, stand back because it has a cast time of 1 second. Use it before you go in, and then use that barrier to soak up all the damage. And then in case if you do get blasted or something in one hit, you won't die, because by the time the barrier ran out or whatever, your health hits 0, you'll be protected by the "we will never yield" boom. But that's just one strategy that I can think of to really use it, and it's like, it's not really useful. So usually if you're running Paragon, I would say run Signet of Rage, because it gives you adrenaline while you're in the fight, and you need more adrenaline while you're you know, in there, because you can keep using your chance. You can also use Lesser Endure Pain if you're going to be a tanky, you know, hard son of a to kill. So this is what you can do. Let me start it off. Let me put myself in combat and then get myself full adrenaline. You start off with Chant of Action.
There's the power.
Let's give you them boons. I need more motivation. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Cast Chant of Action again. And then we can cast Chant of Freedom. Now we gotta wait, get that stability right there. You see that? But then we don't want to use all of our motivation. So what do? We go right back to Chant of Action. And you can just stay in Chant of Action forever. I need some more motivation. You need that skill to come off cooldown. Remember, we running Relic of Rivers, right? You want to be overpowered. You don't want nobody to kill you. You use Chant of Action, Chant of Freedom, as much as you want. Now here's another thing, like I said before, when you use a Chant of Recuperation, you want to use Brace Yourselves, because it's also a burst. So say I got 7 motivation right now. Motivation is so easy to get. I'll use that. I'm at 9. Brace Yourselves, Chant of Recuperation. You see that? 8,000 barrier. It's a burst as well. There we go. 10,000 barrier. Every time you use a burst skill, it's going to activate that echo, right? That's the strategy that I use for that. So you hit Brace Yourselves first, right? Well, hold on, let me get some more motivation. Hit Brace Yourself first.
Brace yourself all together.
You hit that recuperation, Chant of Recuperation. You see how much barrier I got? That's how you stack barrier with your chants. And if you need your skills to come off cooldown, you're running Relic, so just dodge. What you can do is you can run the Orient Truffle food for endurance regeneration. If you want to be like a super jump around, you can run Last Stand for more vigor, so you can just keep dodging constantly. So that's another way you can just be unkillable. I don't think I have any Orient Truffle on this. This is a beta character, so I don't have the Orient Truffle. But basically, Orient Truffle gives you stamina regeneration. Yeah, endurance regeneration, whichever. And you also got to remember a lot of these skills, because when I was running a power build for, so here's the power build for that. This is actually find their weakness. I read the skill and it says enemies around you. So this is actually a melee skill. So you actually have to be close to them to use that. So you will always start off in Chant of Action, and then use find their weakness. Use a burst so it can go off again. But you'll be getting that that might for every enemy that you hit. But look how much might I have. Just by myself, I have 25 stacks of might, and I'm just in Chant of Action. That's it. So the power build is very strong, because you can just stack might so easily and just burst the enemy down like in seconds.
Find their weakness.
Find it. You can also hit Signet of Rage if you need some might. 25 might right there, off of one button press. So the power build is okay. I mean, you still can die pretty fast, but the real godliness comes when you running this tanky build that can like not be stopped. I'm not saying it can't be stopped. I'm not gonna say like I was playing it and I didn't die a few times, but the amount of people that it took to take me down was ridiculous. It shouldn't have taken so many people to take me down. And I don't know if it's because, you know, they new to the game, they don't know any better, or they don't know their skills and things like that. But I've tested it multiple times with different groups of people. I was like, this build is obviously way too strong, and there's nothing I can do about it. Here we go. Echo right there. So yeah, just remember that all of your chants are also burst skills, which means they will also activate your echoes. Every last chant is considered a burst skill. But I couldn't find any other use for these. Never surrender and on your knees. These may be like PVE type, stuff. Because you're not gonna use every utility. If you can find a valuable use for it, I could, use that. But I can't find a valuable use for any of these other than, this for a power build and this for, a tanky barrier build. And yeah, I think I touched about everything for that, right? Which you would run. I don't really have a build for PVE. I mean, here I can create a build real fast. So if you're in PVE, right, you're gonna run tactics. PVE is so easy. I don't even see why people would need to run a build. But you can run this since you're running Warhorn. If you're running shouts, you can run that for shouts. You can run this in Reverses World too, if you want. Um, yeah. So you can run that for might, give your allies might, and then or you can run this for con declare, for the passive con declare, and this clears. I mean this heals when every time you shout. So you can use that, and then you can use we will never yield for the barrier. It all depends on how you like to play in your play style. So I like to use banner because I like just in case somebody goes down, I can get them up, and if the enemy goes down, I can finish them off. So the banner has two uses. So yeah, I think that's the Paragon build, the most overpowered warrior build that's about to come to the game, and hopefully the developers can do something about it, because otherwise I'm just gonna be walking through the game unkillable and nobody's gonna be able to do anything. So I don't think anybody's gonna have fun playing against me anytime soon. So yeah, I hope this helped you out, and I'll see y'all then. Come join my stream too if you want to see me walking around be God mode and shit. I'm about to do that right now. So see y'all then. Peace.